walk here on this road.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. I think we've got captured 35 registrations, but some of them online, and we're going to have this recorded. We do this series of Founders MXR. So we have been to a few other offices where we try to interact with a domain expert. We are glad to have Mr. Deepak Agarwal. We are taking the time on a weekend where it'll be good to capture his insights around his investment thesis and portfolio companies, funding memos, or and we also crowdsource a lot of questions. There are at least some 8 to 9 questions, and we're glad to have Dr. Madan Mohan Rao, who will be moderating this discussion as a host. Over to you, Madan.
Yeah, sure. So let's begin with a quick round of introductions. Just tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Bharsha. I'm a relationship head in HDFC Bank. Hi, sir. My name is Moyu. I'm heading Indranagar W Road branch. So about my experience, I've worked in HDFC for the past 7 years. I was involved in some tech startups as well, mainly into test automation. So mainly I was into sales, handling Middle East and Europe regions. Now back to bank.
What are the engineers by background?
No, I'm a management background.
Management.
So good afternoon all. So I'm Karthikeyan. I'm working as an Imperial Client Relationship Manager. Under Flipboard, just opposite to this.
Oh, wow.
So basically, I'm an engineer, electronic communication engineer, and MBA in marketing management.
Hello everyone, my name is Krishna Shetty. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a student as well right now, pursuing my BBA in entrepreneurship.
They organized a very good event, by the way, on the National Startup Day, and promoting the message of entrepreneurship to school students also. So college students teaching school students about entrepreneurship. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Vijay. I take care of the foreign direct investment and Tamar related airline for this is back. This sort of same as well.
Hi, Sharath, founder CTO at a company called Fearcode. We work in the automotive space. We help automotive fleet companies automate the day-to-day inspection of vehicles.
And India and UK, right?
Yeah, UK, Europe, apart from India.
Come to you last.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Krishna and I lead the partnership segment at Starship. So I work mostly with the utility, energy and oil and gas companies. That's it.
He did one of the first articles on space tech startups. It was wait, how many years ago?
2018.
Yeah, almost 6 years ago. Before the big wave, he was on the like
Yeah.
Sort of cloud product type.
Yeah. I also build some tools for crowd product, Cloud Mixer, we can use for matchmaking and outcomes. In fact, I think Venture Catalyst has a portfolio company called Coffee Mug. Yeah. So, we use offline events for matchmaking, all these conferences and all that, and try to drive them towards their goals and outcomes. Of course, VCs use it for closed-door pitching events. So we use it as
F6S.
Yeah, a mix of F6S and sort of matchmaking. So a lot of people get leads, interests, commitments using the tool. Yeah.
So in addition to the digital startups, we've got a brick and mortar, brick and mortar startup.
Literally. Yeah, I feel like an odd man out. Okay, so I'm founder of Preset Building Systems. So what we have done is we have productized construction. So construction is a activity that happens on site, brick by brick. The buildings are built literally by hand, incomplete bricks. So being the 20 years, everyone we have reimagined buildings to be products that come from factory, fully finished. It gives you complete flexibility. We raised a small friends and family round of 45 lakh. We're looking to raise another 10 crore, set up a pilot factory. So I'm finding myself pushed out from everywhere because when I say factory, then they are like
Factory and construction.
Double.
Factory is good.
Double is what I'm stabbing myself. I'm hoping for a breakthrough. Good for this.
I'm Sai, I'm from Ganesh and Maran's team. In short, I'm the fun guy, so if you ever have fun.
Fun guy.
Fun or fun?
Fun or fun?
Fun.
Oh, fun. Yeah, my friend.
And we also have online, my colleague Manasvi, say hello.
Hi everyone, great to have you here. Welcome to the Funders and Founders Mixer.
He's having the whole stream online also. So it's nice.
Yeah,
Stream
yeah.
online, we recorded, so we'll carry on the discussion.
Yeah.
Vipul.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vipul. I'm from HDFC Bank. I basically help evangelize the startup ecosystem at HDFC Bank. We work with VCs, we work with individuals and accelerators and startups, and we also look at giving out working capital. But the basic idea is to provide the right kind of support to startups. So the team here is here, with the idea of also understanding what's how to business, whether it be on the FX side, it be on the banking side, it be on any other segment where we can help you also into understanding that requirement as well. And we have a quick product overview of what we also have a video that we would like to show. We can do a good later on.
No, let's do it now. Yes.
Yeah, first one.
Manasvi, can we play the first video by HDFC?
Sure.
India, the world's third largest startup ecosystem, offers boundless possibilities. HDFC Bank proudly presents Startup Build-Up, a comprehensive range of solutions tailored to meet startup needs. We understand every founder's unique journey requires specialized services to succeed. Explore the many benefits of Startup Build-Up, starting with the HDFC Bank Startup Current Account, an account that adjusts to your startup's growth. Our FD-backed commercial credit cards provide interest-free periods of up to 50 days, easy management and tracking of your payments to vendors, taxes, and other expenses, secure digital transactions. HDFC Ergo, our subsidiary, offers customized group health plans starting from just 7 employees instead of the standard 25. Cross-border and trade transactions are simplified by our dedicated experts who provide competitive rates on Forex transactions and also support with regulatory filings. Handle digital collections and payments seamlessly with our eNet corporate internet banking and payment gateway. For startups with international operations, our foreign currency accounts provide the convenience of not having to worry about conversion rates. These accounts can be held in a foreign currency and are available through HDFC Bank's Gift City unit and branches in Bahrain and Hong Kong. Under the government's CGSS scheme, eligible startups can access collateral-free lending through the bank. Manage salaries of employees effortlessly with zero-balance corporate salary accounts and a wide range of accompanying benefits. A range of benefits through the bank's alliances are offered, including cloud credits, CRM tools, legal handbook and compliance calendar, and accounting tools to help you scale your business. With over 7,800 branches across India, including 25 branches with dedicated startup zones, HDFC Bank invites startups to join the Startup Builder program. Contact your relationship manager or visit your nearest HDFC Bank branch to open an account and explore the full range of benefits for startups.
Thank you. So I think in terms of the
Stop wasting time applying for jobs on LinkedIn or Naukri or
Stop your YouTube.
So the idea is that we've actually increased quite a bit in terms of our physical presence as well. So 7,500 was last year. I think now we would be close to somewhat 10,000 plus. We scale up very fast. I think what it also does for startups is that we have options like Telegram that you're in the B2C space or other partners across the country. We are a good arm to be a part of. We bank with almost all the big ones. So we bank with the startups across the country. We have the largest portfolio of bank. So it also helps you getting to the right crowd and obviously in our transactions with contact messages. That's what we have. And we have the team here from Canada So if you have any questions, they can also take it up and we can leverage the good vibes of Vivek as well by partnering with us. So that's advantage. And one more other thing that I would really like to show you is a brand new product that we have just launched. In fact, we're the only bank in the country who launched this product. We're quite proud of it, and we would just like to show it to you. It's called Giga. Manshri, can you play the Giga video?
Sure, sure.
Running your own gig with Giga, ignite your passion. Live on your own terms. Be rest assured, Giga's got your back. Introducing India's first comprehensive banking program for freelancing gigsters. Giga is designed specifically for your gig life. Giga Savings Account unlocks a wide range of benefits to power your passion. With Giga, get yourself an affordable health cover of 5 lakhs for as little as rupees 20 per day. Giga offers seamless domestic and global collection solutions. Giga debit and credit cards with offers to help learn, co-work, and simplify your life. With exclusive rewards and savings. With exclusive partner offers tailored to help you scale your gig. Make your own systematic investment process. Invest how much you want and whenever you want. Say goodbye to monthly payouts. Access a full range of customized loans to drive your gig forward. Introducing Invoice to Credit, a new credit product for digital platforms and their members, enabling funding against invoices at competitive rates. With Giga, if you can dream it, you can do it.
So again, this is a brand new product that we just launched about 5 months back. So we are open to identify opportunities to collaborate, partner, feedback as well if you have any. That also. With that, thank you so much for your time. And
Is it open for global freelancers as well?
yes. So you can actually utilize that as well. Before looking at working there, because the new OCI rules that are just coming into play will actually make it very difficult for people who have dual citizenships and who are global travelers to actually bank in India without the right partners. So because we will solve them.
Because one startup you're using international styles. How do you do banking?
Sorry, Bhasha, about it. 4 years we are on HDFC. The mother told me a lot about HDFC products that we didn't know about. So thanks for that. And Giga is something that definitely help international forex, especially with the currency rates growing. One new product in that share.
So when is the startup branch that we talked about, some 25 startup zones?
One is very close by in the same as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's it. We have a new one coming up in HSR as well. But the idea is that in areas like Indranagar where you do have large startups, all the branches are being supported to be a startup.
Oh, nice.
So you will find similar support across. And like I mentioned, the engineers here. So, dedicated support on FX is being provided. So we realized that FX was critical for investors, VCs, and startups to be able to get that. That's why we have a dedicated team to get this.
I think don't ignore Gurman.
Yeah.
And side, where do you stay?
GP Nagar.
The fun part of this.
Very nice. Good. Okay, so let's get started. Thanks so much. We'll have more questions for you afterwards. Want to introduce our host for today now. Deepak Agarwal is the partner at Venture Capitalist. He was earlier at Dexter Capital and Ideas Bank, but when many of the hats he has won. He's also on the board of a number of startups, so very good tips and yarn on the whole investment arm of startups. So I've got a few questions for him. We also got questions from, I think Hamza asked some questions. We also asked on the internet for people to crowdsource some questions. We got some questions for you. So we have a hard stop recording, 1 o'clock, about 45 minutes, and then we can, it's very open. It's a small intimate group here, so anybody can ask. But we begin with, we just had India Startup Day a few days ago, and many celebrations were there about how far India has come, where there's India needs to go. So what are your thoughts on where India is today in terms of its startup ecosystem? Doing well, what is not working right? What are you saying?
Of course. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks Vipul for the wonderful presentation. So my name is Deepak. I think Mother has already talked about what I do. But in terms of the specific question, I think obviously if we say that where are we there yet, obviously not. I mean, there's a lot more to be done. But at the same time, I think we have come a long way. But I remember conversation that was going on in a particular group, which is specifically led by a couple of VCs, and they were talking about a lot of the things that it's not working. There is a lot more happening in the valley, and it's not happening in India. But at the same time, you have to realize that that particular ecosystem is being so good. It's much more than what we are right now. And I think whatever the progress that we have made is being humongous. I don't think that there are countries that can claim that kind of a progress that has been made in such a short span. So I think in the last, I would say 1 decade itself, we have done a lot more than what we would have probably achieved. Probably we can achieve more, obviously we can. It's but where we are, I mean, you yourself, when you were saying that on the National Startup Day itself, you did 75 presentations in a day itself. It's a humongous. I mean, you can imagine the kind of a velocity it needs for you to do something like this. And then there are, I heard that there were so many other different kind of a programs that happened on the particular day. And it's amazing. I think, all of us as the enablers has to take credit for it. It's been a great journey. And I believe that, even the velocity that we have now, it's going to go really 24 from here. So I'm obviously bullish. Obviously, that's why we've been very actively investing in startups. So mostly early stage startups. But I think the things are looking good even for the late stage as well. The growth in the mid stage startup. So
So I think for most of you, this is the first big startup event of the year. So what are some of your thoughts on the trends that tech trends, business, money? Give me 3 thoughts.
Sure. So one of the big things that I'm seeing a big shift is that there is a lot of new money that is coming in. Earlier we used to sort of think about maybe 35 to 30 names which will keep putting in capital into startups, but then now if you see every day you hear a news, there is somebody new who's been putting in capital into startups, and you would really wonder that who they are, and then when you sort of research about them, you say, oh, this no brainer, because they have probably got an exit or have been in the ecosystem. They should be definitely, be the enabler of this particular. So there is a lot of new money that is coming in. Family offices become very active. There are a lot of new family offices that are coming up, which we probably might not even know about. And that's something that we do. We do work with a lot of new family offices. There are currently more than 4 or 5 family offices that I'm been talking to who are looking at setting up a family office, and at the same time are also trying to understand that how do they invest in this alternate asset class, because most of their investments so far had been gone into obviously the public market and maybe some of the other asset classes that real estate are. But now, given that they already have exhausted maybe some of those asset classes, they are thinking about how they would probably start looking at this particular asset class also. So this new trend has been something that I've been obviously seeing for maybe about 3-4 years now. And it has become more and more prudent in the last couple of months. So this is something very new. And I believe that this will continue. There are a lot of founders who have probably made money given that they have either exited the business or gone IPO. There are a lot of SME IPOs that happened. So people have capital and they are looking at this asset class, which is very interesting. So there's one thing that I'm being seeing a clear shift. The other thing that is, and obviously we can't even probably talk about it enough, but AI is obviously shifting a lot more things than we could probably imagine. So right from, any kind of tech discussions which we are having nowadays, I think everything people are being looking at how probably AI can shift the overall game, or if not, then at least how can it make it efficient. So all of those discussions, I think we were having that maybe about 7 or 10 years earlier as well. But now the velocity of those conversations has been very different because the infrastructure has been becoming more and more affordable. I think the value has been always been available. And then I think with new ChatGPT and other tools, it has become very essential as well as easy for many of the founders to think on those lines and then start creating maybe more efficient ways to deliver their products or services or whatever they do. So that I think is another shift. I mean, hearing this into so many new conversation which earlier probably wasn't been happening. And I think the maybe the another piece where I only seeing is that I think in the last few years I've seen that the B2B and deep tech sort of startups weren't really being able to get the kind of a limelight they were, which is happening now. Last, I would say, a couple of quarters, there are a lot more into tech startups, climate tech startups. Those shift has been changing. People are absolutely looking at, how can they probably make a business properly investment climate tech startup or deep tech startups providing solutions into these spaces, which is, I mean, those weren't the kind of conversations I was hearing earlier. So that's a big shift that I have seen in the very recent past. And I think it's a welcome shift.
Tell us about your current company and your current fund. You're working with 300 startups now. There's an unbelievable number, but how does your fund work and what are the different stages? You call yourself India's first multi-stage.
Yes, we have. Yes. So we started in 2015. Apurva Ranjan Sharma was the founder along with three more gentlemen who started this particular fund. And now, obviously, 9 years. We just recently celebrated our 9th year a few days ago. So, Venture Catalyst is probably deploying about 250 to 300 crores every year into startups. We've been investors in probably more than 360 startups by far now, and frankly, we managing over 300 startup portfolio. We do early stage. We like to come into early stage in these startups. Mostly a check size of about 200K to about $1 million. But why we call ourselves a multi-stage is also because we also keep doing a lot of these other investments where we probably put in, let's say, a $3 million into a fund or a $10 million. So all of these particular stages we keep covering. Obviously, the velocity of those conditions has been less. We do a lot more on the early stage. Let's say 85 to 90% is something that we do in the very early stages, seed stages, or with a little bit of attractions and those 200K to 1 million. So those are a lot more, but the late stage transactions and all those also keep happening. So we keep doing that. I have recently joined the team, about 3 months old. So I specifically look after the portfolio growth. So I have a very large portfolio, and obviously the portfolio need care and the attention. So but they looks like kind of trying to have a couple of startups connect with businesses who can probably use their services. Certain places they even want to hear me out on hiring. There are places where they want to hear me out on pricing. A lot of places they just need to connect with the VC. And I have VC, different countries to connect in the VC community. So they just need those connects. Certain times it's just about saying that I probably need a friend to just hear me out on certain aspects that I believe that important for the company. So yeah, I mean a lot more. There are a lot of other places check, and also keep looking at new investments. Obviously, given that I'm the only one in management. So yes, so yeah, that's the one. Yes. No. So yeah, Delhi also is very few, but the large part of the team is in that.
Some of these startups you mentioned maybe it was the
Yeah, of course. Obviously, some of the larger ones probably you as a maybe the consumer and generally would know is maybe Blue Smart is one of our portfolio startups. Zip Electric, another of our portfolio startups. Karma Aerospace, the drone company which works a lot with the defense. They are our portfolio startup. Super Bottoms, if you know the cloud type of startup. Currently talking good, really good, and we are our portfolio startup. Video Works is another portfolio startup. So we will be targeting US market. So there, portfolio startup. So yeah, I mean, we do, yes, yes. So we've been lot heavy on the consumer. So and hence we have done a lot more consumer deal. But at the same time, if you look at the overall portfolio, we have done everything. So we look at everything we do, mostly everything. Consumer is something that is being preferred, given that you know how you can within the, say 2 to 3 years time frame, you can try and see you can get an exit. So because of that, our attention had been a lot more towards consumer, but we have done across. We have done all segments, all sectors.
Anything in construction?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Waiting for that, yeah.
We have a specific fund that looks at PropTech. So Aspire is a 200 crore fund which looks at only PropTech investments.
So there is a separate category within your.
Yes, yes, there is a fund.
That's great, but it's the right place then.
Yes, definitely probably. Aspire, ASPIR.
Yes, yeah.
So specifically a PropTech fund. So yeah, that's there. Manufacturing, drone is also health tech. Crops.
Have you had any business getting a fund approved to? You said no afterwards. You realized, oh my god, look at them after.
Of course, of course. There would be a large list of NT portfolio that I can think of. Not only specifically Nudgy Catalyst, because obviously here I'm new, but at the same time in my previous avatar and places where I have been in decision making places and I've not been able to, let's say, do this. So let's say one of the prime example would be Sciency, something that we should have done. And even if, 2011, the very initial days of consumer internet, we have seen almost every other consumer startup, right from Pipfry to Ola to Taxi Culture, to a lot of those consumer startups, and we couldn't build conviction and we said no. So yeah, I mean there are.
Reset is going to be one of them. I would tell you, my company.
But venture capitalists have also had some big successes like Oyo Rooms. That's one of the bigger.
We do. We have obviously a lot of successes as well. A lot of places we have sort of places. So yeah, it's not fast. I'm going to
There's going to be some plan for founders over here. So partnership is very important for founders. Right? You can't do everything on your own. So how should founders go about getting good? What's the techniques go to partner? Give me some examples.
Sure. No, of course. So I mean, so this is what I kind of keep telling my own portfolio founders as well, that in a particular partnership, if you kind of go with a single tunnel view of how you probably benefit from that particular partnership, is something that often I've seen doesn't work out. Is even right now there is a portfolio startup which I'm trying to guide it to a particular partnership. I'm saying go into that particular discussion with a mindset that what can you give probably, and then ask what you can get from them. So there is a large part is about how you can make the other partner excited about working with you with what you can provide them in terms of business or access or anything that you can think of, versus just going out and saying that, okay, probably, if you partner with us and then maybe if we do revenue, then we can give you some percentage and all of that. I haven't seen that it works out for maybe growth startup or a series D onwards, those kind of a startups, but in a very early stage, it doesn't work out. It's not a kind of you don't want to build a relationship just on a transaction. You want to build a relationship for a really long term. And that happens when you have let's say, equal sort of a game out of that particular partnership. So let's say you provide some access to them and they provide some access to them and you both are happy. So this is something that I've seen work out quite often. Maybe, if I sort of dumb it down, it's like probably very simple, but I've seen that oftentimes in life, simple things go much faster, much better than what you kind of. So this is something I've seen. Otherwise, mostly for the USGTM, I've seen a lot of the founders go to SIs to make sure that they are on their top of the names that they talk to when they talk to their clients. So I think those a lot of places those things work. A lot of times just a copy client having all your slide decks sort of works. So different situation, different things work. But I think in generally, if it's a kind of a partnership which is mostly at a equal or a little more, footing, which the other partner has been much better than of you with building a relationship.
What are the extra agreements with SI?
System integrators.
We get the IT services.
IT services guys who've been selling into the US clients for quite some time.
That's what your due diligence, how we evaluate startups idea that we follow what are some criteria?
So we don't take too much time. Not often we don't deliberate, let's say, too much on the idea, but we do deliberate a lot on the team and the execution capability of the team. So these are the two very, very prime factors that we look at. I think team is something that has been very important to us. And more often or not, if you see, I think this is one of the biggest factors that sort of make or break a business. So you see like so many places that because of either the team issue or the founder issue or to bring the founders, a lot of things sort of break. This is something that we spend a lot of time on. We make sure that people who we are backing our customers they get things done, and also the people come to writing. A lot of times, if those things doesn't match, then it becomes very difficult for us. So that is something that we spend a lot of time on. Other than that, then there are obviously a lot of things that you sort of look at, which is your the execution capability of that. It will so happen that you are consumer founder throughout your life and you want to build something in the space that it oftentimes doesn't work out. So you have to sort of align your domain with what you are doing. And then once you do that and you have the capability of kind of doing that with the team that you're building, then the thing is all about how you get the right direction and then just do an execute. So yeah, that's happened. The other obviously once we have decided to go on to investing into startups, we do a bunch of other diligences like financial diligence, legal diligence, and then oftentimes business diligence. So those things happen, but that sort of happens in parallel with the other documentation as well. So from that perspective, we don't take too much of time. We often try to cut short. We always know that the founders are in urgent need of money. So as much as we can try and make their life easier, we try to do that. And that's what we buy. So yeah, once we come to a sort of conclusion that we are probably going to do an investment in a startup, then we try to in the process.
Yeah, do you have any solo founder startups in your portfolio?
So how do you evaluate the startup? What's the formula to come up with the valuation? Is it a mix of some publicly domain information and your own secret sauce that you can't share?
No, I can share. So it's I mean, more often or not. So let's say for a very early stage startups, and then the most of the stages that where we invest in, and whatever I have seen, I don't think there is a great things that you can try and see, the DCFs and all those other things. I think more often than not, it is a lot more formula driven than how you would probably perceive it to be. So let's say if I, as a fund, I have a specific formula that I work on, I have a little bit of a leeway to kind of play with that particular formula, little bit here and there. So let's say I would say I'm putting in 500K into a startup and it doesn't work for me until unless I put, let's say, 10% into a startup because my math accordingly works with me putting in more and more capital into that startup and then they giving me some return. So now I have maybe a very little leeway on that formula to go here and there. Maybe I can do maybe a 10% variance wherein I can say rather than putting 500K, I can do 550K, maybe 450K. And maybe only 10%, I can go 9% or 11%. But beyond that, there is no limit because if you keep deviating from your this, then the overall formula probably doesn't work. So I have been in cases where we have lost many of the deals and they have sort of kind of become really big, but we stayed into those particular partners. So it's mostly early stages. It's a place where sort of done with not more founders. So yeah, I mean obviously it's all perspective in some sense.
How would you go for a completely new category?
Same. Same. So even if it's a completely new category and somebody has been trying to, disable something which you believe is, at least the founder, and then you believe that it can change the paradigm, you wouldn't want to compromise on what you have worked out as what will work for you as a founder. So let's say you're saying that in this particular 10 startups, I'll put 500K, total $5 million, and then maybe another $10 million in the follow-on rounds. And this is my formula, and this is how the math works. This is how it works. You maybe for that particular company, if you have to change, you can change a little bit. As I said, you have some leeway there. Beyond that, it's all about and if you were sort of missing out, you're missing out. What you can do? You can do anything that you can probably do is just say maybe not this round, but the next round when you sort of do, you can try and do maybe ESOP and something or the management straps for the founders to recap the capital. So beyond that is hard.
Okay, one more Gyan question. How should a founder know whether to take a loan from a bank, like debt kind of funding or equity based funding? How do you know where to go? How do you know how to mix the two as you scale your company?
Because I think it's so again, it's a question also a lot more about availability. Obviously, Vipul and his team is here, so you can sort of understand that it's not always easy for a founder to raise debt. That's the one place where you will have to spend. So in the very early stages, it's very hard for a founder to raise any kind of a debt. I mean, maybe raising equity in some sense might be rather easier than raising debt. Once he grows and then he's kind of into that particular phase where he's in the Series A or Series B sort of places and he's been obviously making revenue, then I think he's something where he has to sort of make this particular choice. I always say to the founders that equity is the most costliest instrument that you will have. Your equity put right now, probably thinking it about, let's say, whatever your last valuation is at $20 million, or it could probably be at 100 million. You don't know. So that's why it is, the most costly instrument, and that's where you would have to evaluate it that way. If the debt is available and probably you're getting it at about 14, 15% or 16%, I think you still probably are better off taking that. If that's available, and also if that is something that your business case is needing. Maybe you could have probably a combination of a little bit of debt and then some equity so that you don't dilute completely. So I often keep advising my founders that if the debt is available, then you should definitely explore.
What about safe notes or CCDs?
That's not. So you can't call them a debt instruments. This is the equity instruments only. It's just that the conversion is being probably some year later in the future.
Questions from anyone else?
US GTM was our context 4 years now. Started from India, now we have UK, Europe in the automotive fleet space. I'm looking this year to start in the US. And none of us, of the two founders being present in US, we're thinking we can do US GTM all remote. My other co-founder sits in UK, he's the automotive guy, and I'm the tech guy. We think a US GTM without physical presence, without paying money, putting people. Have you seen anything work that way? B2B deep tech partners.
I haven't. To be very honest with you, I haven't. Actually, in fact, one of our founder, the startup tried doing this, and I would say that they failed miserably for the first initial years. They actually saw that, the client coming in, client things happening, it is happening, and it's just never happened. So for a year, or maybe I would say little more than a year, they thought that, oh, this client is just signing off tomorrow, and it's bonkers. We're going to go bonkers. It's a $1 million deal. It's happening. And then the second day, the client says, oh, I just had some call or something, so I just went there, and then maybe we'll close it next week. Don't worry, it's happening. Don't worry. The next week, something happens, something new come up, and then the guy says, oh, this new guy is just talking to him because he has something he wants to understand. Until then, until you show them face, you sit in their corridor, you say that because I'm here, I'm not leaving until you sign on the check or you sign on the contract. They don't really think that you are. And the second thing is obviously, specifically in the domain that you're talking about, obviously there are more and enough examples in India. People have built from here in SaaS and other spaces, but deep tech, the hands-on solution, enterprise sales specifically, it doesn't happen without the founder or at least a senior management team being there. I've seen this in Tutura, I've seen this in so many other places. Is when the founder is sitting in those geographies, showing his face every day to the customer and saying that, oh, I am not leaving until you say me a no, or you say no, or you're signing. It takes that kind of a hustle, it takes that kind of a single focus from the sales team to do that. It's not easy. It's very hard. Obviously, for a couple of accounts as well, it's not been very easy for them to just take, pack their bags, take their kids and everyone, take schools and everything, and just go sit into a very unknown alien geography. But if you always have easy answer, then that's the thing. It's hard. You try to see. That probably this be what might be working, this might work, or that actually doesn't.
No, other European countries, we can't give anyone.
Yeah, we found a local person in Germany through the space there, big industry person who was like being based in UK, my co-founder couldn't get into these Nordic or German markets. So we had to find a local sales. It's purely revenue based companies.
So a lot of time, my lot of the founders who have now learned to say that it's actually not even talking about business. Unless you are going with a lot of these clients to church, to their dinners, to their barbecues, they will never think that you are their own. It's very hard. Nordic countries especially proper. They won't even think that you are. They would just think, oh, you will come, you want to do business and go back. If you already, you would want to do work with the people who are actually thinking about business. That's not a transaction. It's a long-term relationship. So, there are the places where actually, Derek is not here, but he could have talked about this quite a lot. Is that, the ultimate nirvana is when they start crying in front of you. And then when you're fat in that.
The problem is so bad that
Or they really drunk or they're open.
Open up, they talk about things. They feel that you are their own. You obviously can't just easily trust somebody who is probably. A lot of these people, they just consider us as outsourcing agents. It's not that. It's much deeper than that. So that they have to understand.
And Derek also says that in Texas, where he used to sell, they go duck hunting, and they're all 60 plus white male. They have a close group. You know, somebody has to fit in.
Even the meetings also you can't do others are there.
Absolutely. There are very few places they can do.
I mean, I could relate a lot of your advices here. There was one incident that happened that I was at some dinner, I don't drink, but for the sake of business and all, then I took a wine glass, poured water, just so that everybody thinks I'm drinking. But you know, like I meet people, then I have a discussion, and then one thing like leads to another. And next day I get a call, they are interested in a business that I spoke about, and you know, that's how things churn out. You know, like because my co-founders, you know, they are innately for some of the components and manufacturing. They don't meet at the factory; they meet at dinners.
Yeah.
They eat, and drink, and then talk about business. So it's completely true. I mean, it's all about the personal connection. What I've realized is that you sell yourself first, and then business comes later. Is what I've learned with my advisors and.
Yeah, I mean, so some of the great lessons that Derek keeps telling is about, there's a great salesman that there I don't know name, but when he used to visit a US or used to live in US, the first thing he used to do is research on his client or whom he's meeting for at least 2 hours or 3 hours. Some of the places where he has met and gone and tell them that you have recently had a niece, so I've got some people. He's gone that deep, and when you go to these people would realize that this guy is not here just for business. I mean, many of the places the conversation doesn't even actually start on business for more than hours because you just keep talking about how Yankees kind of beaten out in the last game or something like that. And if you don't know that, then they know you're just there for the business. Obviously, as you said, it doesn't work. Many of those people doesn't work.
It needs to get some byproduct. That works later on. But it does come if you have a good relationship. It's what I've learned here.
It's now worked in Netherlands calculate. If you want market entry to Netherlands, and then
Questions from you, future of India is yours.
Yes. So my question, it's a more opinion-based one. So there are a lot of people I know who are giving up equity is something they don't want to do because their company is like their baby. So they don't feel like giving up equity. And it's all right. But there are some people who I also know who say, you know what, maybe giving up equity will actually benefit the company long term. Why don't we see that way? So what are your thoughts on this?
All obviously perspective. So, I mean, I've seen places where great founders, because they needed a very initial capital, have given up a lot more equity than they should have. So I think one of the main things that I tell a lot of these people is let's be aware. Be aware what's there in the market. We listen to keep talking to a lot more other founders as well. Try to see that what has been happening. Don't always take advice of let's say a single person because probably he's probably just trying to manipulate. I don't know. But always try to understand that what is going on in the market. If I'm missing out something, if I'm giving out my 20 to 30% equity into a company, am I making a mistake? Or is it something that is probably, is sort of standard and I obviously can't do without it if I have to grow my business. So you have to listen to all of these, be aware, and they, conscious decision. So that's what I keep telling a lot of founders. A lot of places I've seen wherein people sitting in Pune, they didn't have access to an ecosystem. They have given up 50% equity for a very few, initial growth. Is always, been a backing benefit as we work out for them. So being aware, being cautious, being knowing what's happening in the market, I think always helps. That's I keep telling you.
Yes, no, that's right. Okay, question for both of you. How do VCs work with banks? How do banks work with VCs?
And also one more question you could ask: how do banks work with startups?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think a more relevant question in terms of the how banks could work with startups. But I think no, I mean, so we've been obviously building these relationships. I have a relationship with SDFC. I have a relationship with I think before it was in so and then maybe a couple of more banks. I think what we're trying to do is that for our own portfolio startups and even in general as well. I always keep connecting my founders to banks, if they can benefit of from any of the products, not just about maybe raising someone loan or maybe from a CASA or a account or I mean when kind of talk about sir, so he's been looking at forex, so getting a good rate or even sometimes the problem in their life is very simple that how can I get this money rather than being in 3 weeks in 1 week. That will make a change of the whole paradigm for me. So we always try to come out with some expert opinion from any of the banks. So that's obviously I obviously keep working closely with Vipul because he's with HDFC, but in general also.
Sorry, I think what I would like to highlight is what you were also just mentioning right before. It's about relationship. Because again, everybody follows the RBI guidelines, the regulated frameworks that India has, that we follow. All the banks follow the same. But the idea is if you know somebody really well, you can take an extra. So, for example, we have a lot of examples today where startups, when they were getting foreign remittances, it had to be done really fast. And the bank took a bit of a risk and went to RBI and said, no, we guarantee with given the past records that this is a good bet. Please help us with that. We build cases to RBI, we pass those sort of corrections. So that comes in from a relationship. Again, when we're developing new products, when we're looking at doing and understanding all these sort of ways, it stems from the relationship and that very sort of. So, we have our branches which keeps here and that. Because a lot of banks today have moved to the digital side of things. But HDFC has gone through physically. Because we still feel very strongly that at the end of the day, it's a relationship, that matters. You need to be able to see your banker. Because if the first time you go to a banker is, when you want to open something. And most probably after that, you will go to a banker when you're in trouble. So at that point of time, you want a physical interaction. Because
You do a joint DTM with startups, some of
yes,
the
yes, absolutely. So, for example, on Giga, we are looking at partnerships. We're trying to see, how do we collaborate together. We're hoping to see if we have a product offering, we can come onto our platform. We have millions of users who are scaling up on those platforms. We can get visibility there. Secondly, on the banking side as well, we're looking at how can we collaborate together, how can we work together, where can we come in and make your life easy. And again, that may stem from just a bank account to salaries to home loans to so many others, personal accounts as well. The idea today is that we are like an aggregate with multiple services. We have a discussion and personalize as well.
And in our ecosystem, we have seen that one of the things is that banks are the one very unappreciated brother or a partner. Because you think that it's bank account, it's just a salary account, so what? I think what I've seen is that it's a lot more than that. You can do a lot more with them if you really go with the purpose and also play on to their strength. So if you do that, I think you can do a lot more with them.
And also why the VCs and investors bought the box on this is that whatever the fund they invested, it will be safeguarded in HDFC Bank account because as per the latest RBI release, HDFC Bank is one of the 3 banks listed in India too big to fail. So whatever the fund that they are keeping as an FD for the working capital, whatever the fund they are keeping, it will be considered one of the safe part. Right? So there are some small banks which they are keeping the fund and they will think that which bank we have to go for. So first name will be in the private sector, it will be in SBs. And we are having a dedicated forex team, unless like the other some of the banks, we are having dedicated forex team who take who do the pre-verification of the company also. So first we will complete the verification, then everything is okay. Then we will, in terms of foreign direct investment, just telling, we do pre-verification also, and we'll tell what are the 3 categories required for the guideline. Are they compliant to transfer the shares or convertible notes? We will give the entire guideline. We may even take the joint call with the investor if it's in a foreign investors and all. We will have in US time also we'll be having a joint call, and especially in the startup regions like Koramangala, Indiranagar, and HSR, we are having a dedicated person.
Plus, there are certain investors who invested previously and they are facing certain challenge on a FEMA guideline and all. We are having dedicated RBI license desk also, which directly connect with the RBI Bangalore. We are having a regional office in Nupatunda Road for the RBI. We directly connect with them also for the founders or the overseas industry. So these are the first and one of the main reason who VCs or investors are more trust on SPs. That's from the Forex side. Okay.
And what are some new products when we rolling out? And how do you design these new products? Do you do surveys of startups? Do you use design thinking?
Very interesting question. And I would actually like to answer this from an external perspective because when I joined HDFC and when I started looking at how things work, I realized one very interesting behavior pattern within the bank. And that was that most of our branches worked so closely in startups that there was a level of joint ownership. So, for example, if a startup was raising money, the internal discussion which was the branch manager was like, I started working with this person when it was a initial stage startup. Look at how it has scaled up. They're very proud of that journey along with the founder, which I was not privy to in terms of discussions earlier on. So I found that as a very exciting connect to the user. And along with that, we said since they were working so closely with the founders and with the teams there, and they were able to bring a lot of inputs. And the discussion and the conversions that happened that I've been privy to between startups and some of the bankers, have you signed an NDA? Because the information that the founder is giving or the startup is sharing with you should only be shared after signing an NDA. They say, no, that's the level of faith and trust that we build together over a journey. And we're looking at solving the problem. And so it's turned into that relationship. And when I see some of the older people who've been in the bank for about 23, 22 years, the level of relationship that they have built, and like sir was giving example, they go to barbecues. I mean, their families are connected. There's attending festivals together. It's fantastic. And from there, what we start realizing slowly was that when we're getting inputs on how to serve the startup, they're very specific. The best people know advisors to do that are the founders. So we started off with that. We started taking feedback, and we regularly take feedback. And again, we'll be using this platform to media what we're trying to message we're trying to process that please consider our work. If there's anything else you would want or something else that's on your mind, please, we're happy to finish. Please share. Please advise us what else you would want, how we can serve you. We take that into consideration and see how we can build a product on it as well. Data is a good example of that because we realized a lot of freelancers came to us. And one of the really strong freelancers had was how do we get international evidences of you're not working, we don't have the proper corporate setup. And that's how the genesis of this product comes. And then when we were working with RBI Innovation, now we realized it's not only for the white collars, but it's also for the blue collars. So we started looking at, Rapido drivers, Ola Uber drivers, and scaling up. And from there, we realized we had a product that was also looking at inclusion for India. So one step led to the other. And that's been the genesis of and the DNA of how we've been doing.
Yeah. In fact, very, very interesting, the Giga product, going through it. If you want to engage the folks and get inputs, feedback, I can help you with that. The other thing is, before this session, a lot of you have shared questions. We've got like 21 feedback questions. Madan has covered almost everything with valuation and due diligence, all of that. I'm just going to see if there are a few more questions. Also, that based on the survey that we did, most of them were interested in global GTM and funding efforts. And then came the investment queries. The least was the co-founder, matchmaking, all of that. I'll just try to see if there are a few more questions so for instance, we have Adam of Top Perry asking about how do you build networks in a market like Bangalore? We spoke about the US, right? Barbecue and going hunting. In Bangalore, how do you think are the best ways to build a network with VCs and partners and founders?
Network with VCs, okay. So you're not talking about the customer part of view. So, I mean, if you're in Bangalore and if you are not connected to the people who can actually connect you with the VCs, I think you're not networked enough. I mean, there are enough and more places where you can just call and ask for a warm connect. I think the best thing that works in our industry is the warm connect. So let's say if tomorrow Vipul comes and says that, okay, I'm connecting with this particular founder. Why don't you hear him out for 30 minutes? I obviously can't say that. So you have to have those kind of a warm connects. And a lot of times for us, when we do deals, the warm connects is something that works out probably 80% of the times. So those are, the things where you want to really spend time, and that's where a lot of the people prefer that. So the connects, or he connects with, let's say, already a startup founder. If he connects, then it's a great place to start with. So a lot of those works out better, a lot better. And then after that, there are tons of things that you can do. Let's say writing it on LinkedIn to VCs. I think probably out of 50 people who you write, maybe 10 or 12 would reply, but then 10 and 12 is good enough for you. And maybe within those 10, 12, you can ask that you can probably also connect me with this person at this particular VC because you are seems to be, connect with them. So it all sort of worked with the network effect. And once you know enough number of people, you can reach out to anybody.
There's another question on how to get angel investment from a Silicon Valley based investor if you're a startup in India.
Not easy. Not easy. I mean, the first thing that many of those ecosystem ask a founder is that why aren't you raising it from your close neighbor, ecosystem, and all of that? So it's always hard. Friends and family. Yeah, friends and family, your own ecosystem. You're in Bangalore. It's a great place to raise capital. Why you're not raising it from Bangalore? Because see, it's always hard for them to monitor the asset which is sitting, so many miles away. Until and unless they are kind of keep visiting this ecosystem every quarter or something. Let's say, a lot of the founders I know who keep investing in the very founders because they visit that almost maybe every quarter, and then they can go and meet those founders, understand what they are doing. Until unless you are able to do that, it's really hard. Let's say for just some private investor to put in, let's say, a net check and then keep wondering what the scale over here may be happening. So it's harder rather than for me, who I'm in Bangalore and the other founder is also in Bangalore. We just call up and say, "Oh, I'm coming to your office. I just want to have a coffee." That sort of build a trust for me as well in terms of thinking that, oh, I believe that building is also something that is there. So harder, obviously, the only other place where you have an exception is you already know the people. Right. So let's say you work in US, you work for like 12 years, 20 years, come here, you build something, and then you call and write to those people, say that, can you put in some capital and maybe can make some connects with angel investors, and then maybe you get some capital. Those are the only assumptions.
And the specific questions, I'll send it directly to you. Embedded software products you have come to use and all those things. I keep sharing it with you that we have. And just to sort of, we are already on 110. Just to conclude that we keep doing this quite often. But one of the options is beer, barbecue, and pickleball. There's a lot of interest. There are groups, associations, basically building that sort of relationship with different people, customers, VCs, others. So we keep all of you posted. We have a lot of exciting things. And if you want any connects, the Mixer team, and we'll be happy to make those things happen for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think this is wonderful. I think this is the way we all can probably close with some connects that I can provide, some connects people in India can provide. And that's how we all can do it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's go in photograph.
Yeah, we'll take a photograph. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow.